Unmute. Raja Khizr Zaman Sahab, you can ask the question.
Yes, sir. Sir, there are three key US allies that are willing to participate in this BRI project. Namely, these three are the South Korea, Philippines, and Israel. So, how much we can say that there is any hope that they will join, or they had already joined us? Is there any update that Irfan Bhai can share with us? Thank you.
The question is directed to me.
Yes, sir. Question is directed to you.
Thank you. I think the countries you mentioned, South Korea, the Philippines, and the third one is?
Israel.
Sir, third one is Israel.
Israel. Well, these three countries have three different set of circumstances. But at global level, we must be clear that no country, not a single country in the world, is totally out of the reach or ambit or purview of what is known as Belt and Road Initiative. Not a single country. You just name a country, be it a small island nation, be it a small African nation, be it small Central Asian, Eurasian nation, or some big country like Canada, like Australia, like Korea. So we will have some linkage of Belt and Road Initiative to that country's core strategic economic interests. That must be kept in view. Then there are sets of countries that are following not really a balancing approach, but an open doors approach, what I must say, that they at one hand are open to Belt and Road Initiative, and they know that it is very beneficial for their economies and for their future. And at the same time, they are equally, if not more, open to America's B3, what is that, Build Back Better world, B3W. And similarly, the European concept, the Afro-Eurasian Growth Corridor, which is led by Japan, and also the other concept known as PQI, that is Partnership for Quality Infrastructure, that is led by Japan through Asian Development Bank. So these concepts are, the point is that most of these countries are open to majority of these concepts. There is one country that opposes the Belt and Road Initiative the most, opposes, when I use the word opposes, that is India. United States has had representation in past two Belt and Road summits that were held in Beijing. And they would most likely have their representation in the third summit also, that will be held next year, early next year. It is India, the Indian factor. The India is the only country which has not had any representation, and India's main concern is CPEC. If CPEC is not there as a flagship component of BRI, then India has perhaps little problem with BRI. India is already part of several other China-led initiatives. It has no problem with that. So talking about Israel, Korea, and Philippines, country like Philippines, we must be clear that countries are open to getting the benefits of all the major global partnerships that have unfolded in recent years.
Thank you, sir.
I would just add to the comments made by Irfan Kalvi sahab. I mentioned about three countries: the South Asia, the South Korea, Philippines, and the third one was Israel. I think they are one way or another, they're kind of backing this Belt and Road Initiative. It's like if you ask me about the Philippines and South Korea, so they are pretty much there in the RCEP agreement, which is signed between China, Japan, and ASEAN region, because Philippines is a part of ASEAN region, and the South Korea, Japan, they were also receptive to sign this free trade agreement with China. So it was part of Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, the RCEP, which was recently, like in 2022, it was signed. It's a big agreement. It's a free trade thing, and that would really kind of boom and expedite those trade activities in the region. So they are pretty much receptive to this Belt and Road Initiative, but maybe they're influenced politically by American policies. So that's perhaps would be the reason to not like formally announce and join BRI initiative. Like if you ask for me, like the China-India cooperation, like they're having trades and billions of like volume of trade is already like they pretty much they're like India and China they're doing, but on the politically they won't announce that we are part of BRI. And same is the case with like Israel. China is already doing some infrastructure projects in Israel, and they're making bridges and infrastructure development projects in Israel, and they're likely to sign a free trade agreement in the end of this year. So yes, no country would be left behind. I mean, it's such a big initiative, Belt and Road Initiative. Already 49 countries are part of it, and more countries would join. I can tell you that South American countries like Argentina, Ecuador, they're part of this initiative, and that's the backyard of United States. So that would keep on, like countries would keep on joining, and that's perhaps one of the reasons that makes this project so big, and this initiative so much impact has got. This initiative has got so much impact that from Africa to South America to Central Asia, all the countries are getting their due share. Thank you, Khizr Zaman, for your question. Any other question? Another hand was raised by Sharafat. Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead with your question.
Sir, basically, I need some clarification about my question is about Gilgit-Baltistan in CPEC, sir.
Please.
So I need 2 minutes, sir. Basically, I wrote article on this. That, sir, in CPEC, there are basically two countries, China and Pakistan. And also there are two opposition countries, India and America, we know. Because India is always the implacable enemy of Pakistan. So I think as a gateway of Pakistan, I think, and I also mentioned this in my article, maybe I am wrong, that the security and peace of Gilgit-Baltistan is at a risk, because India have a great interest in Gilgit-Baltistan. And also in the previous year, India officially declared Gilgit-Baltistan as part of India, and also the Popular Party of India, BJP, also presented a bill in their assembly for the reservation of seat for Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir in their assembly. And there is another country, and that is America. Obviously, America is a competitor of China, and American never wants that China will excel them and overtake them economically. So maybe these two countries, India and America, collectively do or will do anything to turn the peace and harmony of Gilgit-Baltistan into restlessness, to thwart the CPEC, for the destruction of CPEC. So am I right that the security and peace of Gilgit-Baltistan is at a risk?
Okay, your question is directed to Takalvi Saab.
Any one of the speakers, sir?
I would request if answer to answer, and then I would add a comment. Yeah.
Thank you. I think our panel and our moderator, learned moderator panelists, they can answer your question and other questions in much better way than I can. But I try to share with you my understanding of this issue. We have to understand it in another way. First, India. Well, we must ask ourselves a question. Would India have no problem with Gilgit-Baltistan if there is no CPEC? Is CPEC the reason for Indian antagonism about Gilgit-Baltistan of today? Your answer would certainly be no. It will be in negative. India's problem is the existence, the entity that is named as Pakistan. India's problem is not CPEC. CPEC is just one of the reasons to come in front and start bashing Pakistan. India has been creating problems in Azad Jammu and Kashmir as well as in Gilgit-Baltistan. Terrorism, security issues of Gilgit-Baltistan have a lot of linkages which are proved. We have busted, our security agencies have busted several networks of terrorists operated by and backed by RA in Gilgit-Baltistan, even before CPEC was operationalized, started, and after that too. So as far as India is concerned, it will keep on creating problems for Gilgit-Baltistan. But I think the countermeasures by Pakistan and the help of China in this regard, especially the creation of special security group for CPEC, that is strong enough to thwart any plans by India. As far as the American position is concerned, America definitely has a global view of the things when it comes to China and China's BRI. So in terms of CPEC, America's position would more be like blaming China for subjecting Pakistan into so-called debt trap and low quality infrastructure, environmental hazards, things like that. I'm not saying that America would not do anything for creating disturbance in Gilgit-Baltistan or anywhere else in Pakistan, but at the same time we do not have any, at least I don't have any substantial evidence to blame America on that. So we must be very clear about that, that what is America's overall posture towards BRI, that is reflected in American policies about CPEC as well. Gilgit-Baltistan's security has threats, but that is not all about CPEC. I think Pakistan of today is well placed to take care of Gilgit-Baltistan's security.
Thank you, Irfan Sab.